Wake up, you pathetic whelps! This is no time to be laying around like fattened thorn beasts. In case you are too stupid to notice, the Banished haven't been doing well, precisely because of worthless slugs like you! That's better. Now that I have your attention, I've got new orders for you. We are shifting our efforts from salvaging to bolstering our remaining outposts in this sector of the Ark. Decimus chose all of you to protect our salvage operations, but you couldn't even protect him! So, we're throwing your carcasses to the front lines. Maybe some live fire will get those brains to grow in your empty skulls. Your contingency will be split between two of our top lieutenants, Warlord Pavium and his brother, Commander Voridus. I served under both of them during the Parasite outbreak, so you would do well to heed my words, else face their fury. Those who will be assigned to Pavium know this well. He is an architect and siege master, in charge of making the best fortifications at Atriox's command. He's called the Unbreakable for a good reason. His implacable discipline and tenacity is leagues beyond any here. He'll push you into heavy fire, but he will try to get you through it alive. At the very least, to send you into the next bombardment. Ha ha! Pavium's skill is unimpeachable, but be warned that conflicting ties of loyalty to his clan and brother has slowed his own advancement in the Banished. This has made him ever eager to prove his worth. Remember what I said about heavy fire? I meant it when he said he's going to throw everyone at it. Ha 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 ha! Anyway, some of you may be pleased to know that you'll likely be fighting alongside the Unbreakable. Pavium is a traditional Jiralhanae combat engineer, taking to the field of battle as an engine of destruction and smashing enemy lines as part of the Pack's vanguard. You won't be able to miss him. He is always clad in his custom war plate and a relic tower shield gifted to him by Decimus. He's also armed with a heavy mortar system and a target designator floating around for him to call out high-value targets for combined fire. We expect all Jiralhanae within his pack to function together. No glory seekers, no infighting, and no killings of any kind with the Unagoi. You'll also have some good gear while under his command. The Unbreakable's arsenal contains such beasts as the Wraith Invader assault transport. And I can already see by your faces you dimwits have no idea what that is. In the Covenant, ecclesiastical authorities ultimately oversaw even the most trivial modifications to existing designs. Improvements or alterations required layers of bureaucracy to navigate, and often took decades to gain approval from the prophets. The Banished approval process is much simpler. If there is a demonstrated need and materials available, a pack leader can make any changes that he wishes. The Wraith Invader is an example of this freedom, with Pavium taking damaged mortar tank hulls and repurposing them into heavy troop carriers, which transport our pack brothers into battle. Pavium also has in his possession a number of repurposed Covenant megaturrets. I doubt any of you whelps have ever seen one. The megaturret was used to protect Covenant military and religious installations. But some commanders were granted requisition of such mighty machines. They reflexively attack all who approach without long-forgotten authorization codes, blasting them into pieces with massive plasma mortars. Pavium deploys them as a straightforward anti-siege weapon at war camps. Pavium wields this power without hesitation, and with such a weapon, He grinds armies beneath his boot. Now, for those of you that will befall under his brother's command, you're the unfortunate ones. Voridus is everything that his elder brother is not. Glory-seeking, vicious, and spontaneous. Gifted with an intuitive understanding of Forerunner systems, he has ruthlessly exploited the Ark for new resources and knowledge since Atriox brought us here, culminating in his recent harnessing of infusion gel. In fact, everything you need to know about him as a commander is how he uses this stuff. Infusion gel is a perfected form of the energetic metamaterials we use in our fuel rod rounds, and is one of the materials pumped through the Ark in great rivers to keep the installation functioning. Unfortunately, the prototype infusion technology Voridus created produces corrosive and mutagenic sludge during operation. Not that this has stopped him from field testing new weapons that actually harness these dangerous byproducts. So, be sure to keep your distance, lest you desire death. Voridus has bent his considerable intellect to perfecting the military uses of infusion gel, utilizing it in powerful explosives and targeted bombing runs. Unlike Pavium, Voridus has unstable forces that utilize his new toys in order to lead to a decisive end to this war. The Grenadiers are one such example. They are insane, Jiralhanae, and I mean that quite literally. They are too unstable and crude to advance in the Banished hierarchy, and so, with few other options to seek glory, they have turned to Voridus. He offers a place in the vanguard of his pack for any willing to test his latest inventions. I suppose you could consider it glorious, so long as you don't mind your bodies rotting from the inside out from exposure. I've seen their rotting flesh and know that they will tear you apart simply for looking at them for too long. Voridus's improvements have also corrupted the Hurricane detachment that serves him. Extended exposure to the toxic residue of the infusion gel has altered them significantly, causing some of them to simply fall apart, while the rest of them have been changed in other, more subtle ways. These damaged engineers have been shunned by their healthy packmates, probably because they're not the same kind of soft-bodied pushovers you're used to pushing around, such as the lack of interest in repairing foreign machinery and sabotaging equipment of Banished who have annoyed them in the past. So, for you Unagoi who've tossed pebbles at the gas bags, best keep your eye on your methane tanks. Voridus has little interest in their long-term health or new behaviors, so long as the infused engineers continue to perform their duties for him.
Your methane setting is up too high. Yeah, there, all fixed.
Seems some of you need more of a history lesson to appreciate your new commanders. Both of the brothers were once like us during the tyranny of the Covenant. They fought the Prophet's wars, bled for their false journey, and left numerous Jiralhanae brothers to their meaningless death. But then came Atriox, then came the Banished. They freed themselves from the yoke of the Sanshayum and sought a path that was theirs to forge. They rose to become one of the War Master's fiercest commanders and crushed all those who opposed his vision. One such fool was the elder chieftain Jovis, who sought to challenge Atriox's might on the backwater world of Karava. The brothers ambushed his pack and watched as Atriox cut the old fool down and swayed his men to our cause. A new age was upon us. No longer would we have to sacrifice our own for false faiths. No longer would we slaughter each other over scraps of glory. The old ways are dead. The time of the Banished had begun. Voridus and Pavium led our forces proudly over the years, and even as our war with the human trespassers began months ago, they served Atriox well. After our setback with the Halo Ring and the loss of the Enduring Conviction, Atriox tasked Pavium and his brother with a mission to judge their worthiness as members of the War Master's inner circle, to salvage the wreckage from High Charity, the fallen capital of the Covenant. We have all heard the rumors of what happened to High Charity, of how the flood consumed the city, but we never talked too loudly about them for fear of giving them life. Such tales even gave Atriox pause. He warned the pair not to enter High Charity, but to salvage the ships and surrounding debris around the Sentinel barrier, around the ruins. As the brothers reached the old capital and disabled the Sentinels guarding the barrier, Voridus, ever eager for glory, ignored the War Master's orders and breached the barrier. His recklessness awoke the ancient nightmare and brought forth the flood upon us all. Pavium made great efforts to organize a lance to reactivate the Sentinels in hopes of using them against the flood, thanks to his tactical skills and Voridus' tenacity to right his wrong. They succeeded, but even with the machines, their greatest feat was battle against the Proto-Gravemind. The cursed beast unleashed hordes of misshapen and corrupted creatures. The brothers and their packs were relentless, and despite all odds, the might of their strength tore the abomination, screaming from this world. Do you get it now? This is our last chance to secure victory and glory. You'll follow these brothers or get smashed to a pulp and tossed aside like the waste that you are. Had Strominus joined us, this war would have been won. Now, get to your dropships, you whelps. Your commanders are expecting you. Pertinax out.